All right, redraft, Rick. It's pretty easy. Here's what Debo said. Come prepared with a big board. And that's it. Who'd you draft to build your franchise? It's not complicated. We're not going to go by teams. We're going to go by names. One name being Rick, one name being Ryan. And we know 3 years out how good these players are. And I would offer to give you some help, but I got my big board set. So you have the first overall pick. Your team with no players on it. Who are you taking?
Burrow. Easy.
Okay. That is pretty easy. We just talked about this guy. So my big board, as I redrafted, 3 quarterbacks, 1, 2, and 3, and then a wide receiver, tackle, quarterback. So enough of the suspense. I'm going with Justin Herbert. All right, so you have a quarter.
That was Washington's pick.
Yeah, but we don't have teams in this one, but it was Washington's pick.
I did teams because it wasn't explained to me.
Okay,
so
I know. Well,
Detroit
you can listen.
Has the next pick at number 3.
But here's the thing. You're building a team from scratch. So you can call yourself the Detroit Lions if you want to, but
I also want to say you're not building an individual team. Like if you had the 3 pick and you wanted to take another quarterback, you can do that right here. Which you probably should.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm the Detroit Lions.
I love he has his own rules.
And I'm taking Justin Jefferson.
Oh, look at this guy. He's staying faithful, Debo. All right. I got to mark on my board here who guys are off. So, all right, that's fine. If Debo says we're just taking best players, then I'm going to go right down my board. I'm not going to reach for a player. I got all my players clustered, Rick, because I took this seriously, this exercise. I wasn't playing golf and cutting grass. I'm taking Jalen Hurts.
Wow. Boy, is that the armchair quarterbacking.
I will
Rick,
say
I want to ask truthfully, like if you put this in front of GMs and you gave them a choice in 2023 to add Jalen Hurts to the roster or Justin Jefferson, how many do you think are taking each guy?
They may take the quarterback first.
And Rick, just so you know, on my 2020 redraft big board, Justin Jefferson was number 4. I had him 4th overall. So, I mean, you're not that far off. That makes you feel better. I'm sure.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I can sleep tonight.
That's all I wanted to hear. All right, you're up. The next best player, or if you're picking for whatever team, pick 5th.
I'm picking for the Miami Dolphins next.
All right, who are you taking?
I am taking Justin Herbert.
I already took him at 2nd. Number 2.
I am taking Tristan Wirfs.
Tristan Wirfs. He was number 5 on my big board. You're pretty good at this, Rick.
Just guessing.
All right. So I'm on the board again. I'm going to take another quarterback. I think, and this is going to be controversial, I have a tackle in terms of where my big board lays. I have a cornerback, excuse me. But I got to trust my board, Rick. I'm going with Tua Tagovailoa.
Ooh.
What does that mean?
That's good.
Hey, let me ask you.
Right. That was the Chargers. They needed a quarterback then.
If you feel like divulging, did you have Tua ranked ahead of Justin Herbert a few years ago?
I have to go back and look. They were pretty close with each other, to be honest with you.
All right. You're up for whatever order you're trying to do this in. Best player.
It's the Carolina Panthers pick. It's number 7.
Are you taking Derek Brown?
I'm taking Derek Brown, and I'm going to stick with what they took.
Devo's pulling his hair out right now.
There's no direction on this thing. I just try to figure it out on my own because I get no direction.
I know. Derek Brown was 10th on my big board. All right, next up, I am taking number 7 on my big board. This is a steal, Rick. He's actually coming to his own after struggling through year 1 and then figured things out. Andrew Thomas, tackle, ended up going to the Giants.
Okay. Number 9. Is that what we're on?
Yep.
That was the Jacksonville Jaguars pick that year.
They took C.J. Henderson in real life?
Yes. And I am taking C.D. Lamb.
Oh, gosh. You're good at this. He was number 9 on my big board redraft. Unbelievable. Are you cheating on my paper, Rick?
I didn't even know you had a paper.
And then I do. And at number 8 on my big board redraft, A.J. Terrell.
Oh, that was a good one. That was my next guy.
So there you go. And then did you write these down or are you going off the top of your head? Because I was going to ask you, when did your first running back come off the board?
I didn't go down that far. The assignment was to go through the first 10 picks.
I had Jonathan Taylor at 11. I'll tell you mine. You can tell me what you think. Derek Brown, who you took at the Carolina Panthers. I had him at 10 on the redraft big board. Jonathan Taylor at 11, so that's the first running back. T. Higgins at 12. Do you think that's too soon for T. Higgins, middle of the first rounder?
Not the way he's played.
Right.
He was better than a second-round pick.
And then Jedrick Wills, I had him at 13. That might be a little rich, but I like him.
Who?
Jedrick Wills out of
the tackle in Cleveland, Alabama.
Yeah.
Yep.
Trevon Diggs at 14. Is that too rich for Trevon?
Mm-mm.
And here's the wrench in the machinery, just in terms of being sort of out of left field. Alex Highsmith, 15.
Okay, well then we're out in left field.
He's had 22 and a half sacks. He's had more sacks than anyone in that draft class.
That's great.
I know he's had some injuries. Where would Chase Young be?
That's the thing, right? So would you take, knowing everything we know now, and you're starting your team, you need an edge rusher for next season, and the contracts are the exact same. Whatever, 3 years, $9 million, doesn't matter. Are you taking Alex Highsmith or Chase Young?
Chase Young.
Really? All right, explain that.
Because I think he's going to come off the ACL. He was injured last year and still wasn't complete. So I'm going to say Chase Young is going to be by the end of his career, better than Alex Highsmith.
Okay. All right. So Alex Highsmith was a third round, 102nd overall pick. How would you take him in the first round now, like bottom of the first or something?
Yeah, I'd probably take a swing at him there.
Okay. All right. So not too crazy. All right, Debo, why don't you grade Rick's performance on the redraft?
He tried.
He did try. Another question, Debo. Rank the redrafts. Who has the best team?
You have Jalen Hurts, so I'm going to give you the win.
There it is. Pretty easy, Rick. You got to know. Yeah. You got to play to your audience.
I know. I got a franchise quarterback, a franchise receiver, a franchise tackle, a franchise defensive tackle, which is rare to find, and then another receiver to go along with Justin Jefferson. So Burrow's thrown to Justin Jefferson and CD Lamb.
Oh man! All right, fair enough. I'll give you that. But
maybe one of the most. I'll just leave it. That was very weird.
What was weird about it? People like Rick. And we'll talk about this in a second. Pete goes back and grades the drafts from 3 years ago because that gives you an opportunity to see what worked and what didn't. Because as you pointed out earlier, rightfully, when you do it in real time, you're just throwing stuff against the wall. We have no idea. We did a whole draft show moments after the draft about, this team has an A, this team has a B minus. What part bothers you?
So like Pete's redraft and your redraft, now that you know the A players, you're putting them with the teams, but you didn't know the teams if that was their need back then. I went back and studied the needs from 2020.
Oh my gosh.
So, hey, I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible.
Let me explain something to you, Rick. You're in what's the word? Dumbed down arithmetic, and you're trying to do advanced calculus. Just do the assignment. All right. We're asking for addition, subtraction. We're asking you to integrate and differentiate. All right. Here's some fun facts that Debo came up with, by the way. And I'll let you guess because you like guessing at stuff you don't have any idea about.
Yeah.
How many Pro Bowlers so far from the 2020 draft class?
Let me see. In Debo. Oh, I didn't have Debo's notes.
Oh.
5.
All right. Are you looking at the sheet of paper?
No, I remember reading it, but I don't
5 multi-time Pro Bowlers, 13 Pro Bowlers so far. Justin Jefferson, not surprisingly, among them. Tristan Wirfs, Trevon Diggs, Devin Duvernay, which is an interesting selection. We'll talk about him a little bit more when we talk about teams that we liked and teams that we didn't like. But the Ravens had a ton of draft picks that year, similar to the Vikings. They took Duvernay to the 3rd round. Hasn't really progressed as a receiver so much, but he has been a returner and a really good returner. And perhaps most impressively, and I mentioned this to you a few weeks ago, just in general, he didn't return punts in college, became an all-pro punt returner in the NFL, which seems impossible, right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. If you look at the return stuff and what he did coming out of Texas, because you knew that he was a little unpolished as a receiver, but he was an explosive athlete. And then I have a question on, when you're breaking down these Pro Bowlers, was it first ballot Pro Bowl or was it alternate Pro Bowls? Because a lot of times these guys get Pro Bowls, but they weren't first ballot Pro Bowls. So how are you breaking that down?
History doesn't remember the alternate. If you're an alternate or if you're a first ballot, you go into the Hall of Fame. They're not like, oh, this guy made it in as an alternate in 2002. It's just Pro Bowler.
Okay. There again.
No, it's crazy. Mitch Trubisky has a Pro Bowl isn't a great indicator, but just a fun fact, Rick. Go with it.
I can't go with it. It doesn't. You got to have factual evidence behind it. Was it?
Well, you would agree.
Was he a Pro Bowler that was an alternate?
All Pro is more important than Pro Bowler in terms of.
Yes, because I know putting in these Pro Bowl incentives or
I was going to ask you.
That's
why you're mad.
Yeah. If it was an alternate, it didn't count.
So would an agent ever try to say just Pro Bowl period, and you'd say no?
It's in the language. First ballot Pro Bowler.
Okay.
First ballot All Pro. It wasn't alternate Pro Bowler. So you can say and argue, well, he was a Pro Bowler, but in the contract, he's not getting his incentive because it wasn't first ballot.
So 5 first-team All-Pros, which is the measure by which you go. Again, Justin Jefferson, 5. It was a first-team All-Pro. Tristan Wirfs, Devin Duvernay again, Trevon Diggs, and Taylor. Who's Taylor?
Jonathan Taylor, the running.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor. Good Lord.
God.
I know. I got confused there. 7 players that played in all 50 games. Again, Justin Jefferson. I swear, Rick, you might be, if you're only known for one thing, it should be Justin Jefferson, because that was an absolute grand slam. What's the worst thing about Justin Jefferson? Is there anything that, like, have you ever done the gritty? Let me ask you that.
That's I tried it once.
How'd it go?
It's not good.
So Patrick Queen has also played in all 50 games. Robert Hunt, the interior offensive lineman for Miami out of Louisiana. John Runyon Jr. Look at that, D-Bud sneaking there. Isaiah Simmons, interestingly, has played in all 50 games, even though he's struggled at times in Arizona to find a sort of a niche spot for him. Cole Kmet, the tight end out of Notre Dame in Chicago, and Blake Ferguson.